Hi guys, welcome back to Hoops Junction, and we're gonna be talking about would you pull the shoot on the Los Angeles Clippers? Now, me personally, I've had a lot of faith in what Doc Rivers has been doing in Los Angeles, and even before Los Angeles, before he came to Los Angeles, I had a lot of faith in Chris Paul just going there and what the things that Vinny Del Negro was doing. Even though he wasn't a great coach, with the amount of talent that they had, it just seemed like it was a given for them to go far. You have Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, um, you have Jamal Crawford, you have DeAndre Jordan, which I thought would evolve into a great offensive threat eventually, but his post game is very weak. So all in all, I'm here today to tell you that I'm done with the Clippers. It's time to pull the shoot, time to pull the parachute. I think it's time to watch all those pots and pans fly out the backpack because I think that's all they have there. I don't think they have any saving grace. Even though this year they have so much depth, the problem with the Clippers has never been talent or depth, in my opinion. Just having Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, two premier stars in the NBA, should make you a contender every single year. But for some reason, they can never get over the hump. Even the past playoffs, this last year's playoffs, they beat the Spurs on a buzzer beater at home. Mayweather Pacquiao was the fight, but the real fight was going on was on the court between the Clippers and the Spurs. They eliminated the Spurs. They go up 3-1 on the Houston Rockets, and what do? Think about it. Think about what did they do. They're up 3-1 on the Houston Rockets, and they lay a big fat egg. They lay a big fat stinking rotten egg. When you were in high school and you will go to school and those little baggies for the rotten eggs will be open and just be stinking up in places just like ugh. That's exactly what the Clippers did. They laid a nasty rotten egg. It was disgusting. I didn't foresee that. I didn't foresee that coming. You're up 3-1, and you proceed to lose three in a row. With one of the games, James Harden was on the bench. They took him out for an entire quarter, and they made a run on you without their perennial star, their MVP. You let them come back and defeat you without their MVP. So that was a shocker for me. So after watching that, and every single year it's the same thing with the Clippers. They come out, they add a new addition, they add a new piece. They added J.J. Redick at one point. They have Matt Barnes. They add little pieces here and there. This year they've added a ton of pieces. Lance Stevenson, Paul Pierce, Josh Smith, Wesley Johnson from the Los Angeles Lakers. So every year we hear good things about how they're adding pieces and how they're bringing this to LA, bringing that to LA, which is not going to be the same loser town. But the thing is, I would rather be a loser town and you just don't have any talent, but to be losing and you have great talent makes no sense at all. There's something wrong. There's something not clean in the milk, as they like to say. So at the end of the day, it's always the same thing with the Clippers. They start out the season strong. They go on a little run. They have a record, 20-8. They are 22-4. They start out, they're ripping off wins. They're going hard. In the beginning of the season, the beginning of the season, it really doesn't count. Beginning of the season is just like a filling out period to see how to get your rotations tighter, and who do you want to match up with. Like, who do you want to be on your first squad, second squad, and if you have even more depth, who do you want on your third squad. So start out really strong, throwing lobs. They always have like great defense in the beginning of the year. Always top percentile in the defense. They're always great with rebounding. And then as the playoffs hit, they always proceed to self-destruct. It never fails. Under Vinny Del Negro, they got swept. This past playoffs, they beat the Spurs and then they collapse. Epic collapse. It's just like I don't think I could take any more of that, and I don't think that Clippers fans should take any more of all of this talent, and you're not even making it to the Western Conference Finals. It's just disgusting. Still haven't made a Western Conference, haven't made a Finals appearance. I think 2 years prior, they were gonna defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in a minute and 30 seconds, they proceeded to lose a 10-point lead in a game that would pretty much seal the Thunder's fate. They lost that game and they lost the series. It's just the what we have to understand with the Clippers, it's never been talent. Talent is not the problem. It's just about the culture. Culture of winning, knowing what to do and when to do it. Knowing when to make the defensive plays. Knowing when not to dribble too much. Knowing when to post up the correct way. It's basic things that all the talent in the world cannot fix. Basic things. You would think that Chris Paul, he's the top 5 point guard. You have Blake Griffin, top 5 power forward. Just those two pieces alone. I mean, Stockton and Malone made it to back-to-back finals. So, and it's not like you have garbage around you. They've always had talent around them. I know they've had a weak bench, which is true. But even with that, there's still no excuse, in my opinion, for not making it to the Western Conference Finals. It's just like, what? And newsflash, the West continues to get better. And the reason why the culture remains the way it does is because they keep bringing in players that are one-trick ponies. You know, like, they're not enough two-way players on the team. Like, even this year, I heard the Clippers announcer saying, you know, we got some athleticism on the team now. When did you not have athleticism? Hello, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, they're not athletic? Oh, we got more two-way players or this. And I fully disagree with that notion that you have a lot of two-way players. Because besides Chris Paul, I think you have no two-way players on your team. I would have to say, because Lance Stevenson's a wild card. He only plays defense when his offense is going. If his offense isn't going, guess what? He's not gonna play any defense. Same thing with J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick he's not the greatest defender in the world, but you know, he tries. He's still a liability. So he's a great shooter, but he's a liability on defense, especially like if he has to go up against James Harden or any of those guys. I remember there was one game where they said that J.J. Redick is doing a great job on James Harden. And then I think it was the second half, James Harden dropped like 20 more points on him. So he's a liability. DeAndre Jordan doesn't get a lot of buckets because they don't call any plays for him. And Blake Griffin, I mean, what more can I really say about him on the defensive side? Because, I mean, Tim Duncan abuses him, and Tim Duncan is how many years his senior? They have a lot of one-way players on the team. And I see what Doc is trying to do with bringing in all these players, but it's still going to be the same thing because the culture hasn't changed. The culture is still a losing culture because the players do not know what to do if not told. And it's just the base. That's what it is. Basic stuff. You'll see like key turnovers. You'll see bonehead errors. It's because they have to be told every single thing to do. They have to be like you have to literally walk them through it. And you know, like I hate to say this about Chris Paul. You know, he's one of my favorite point guards. I love watching him play, but I feel that he contributes to that because I feel like he doesn't give the other guys enough autonomy or enough power. He doesn't empower. I feel like he doesn't empower the guys enough to make their own decisions on the court. It's always set the screen. It's always get over there. It's always get over there. But it's just like you never see anyone else really putting a lot of input into the offense. And I understand he's the floor general, which I love. He's awesome at it. but I feel like he should trust his talent. He has way more talent than he's had in New Orleans, period. So I feel like he should just trust his teammates more and allow them to become more better playmakers. At times I feel like he should defer to Blake Griffin a little bit because at the end of the day, the point guard should never be your best player on your team. They should never. It's very rare that if they're gonna be the best player on your team, you need to have somebody that's equal equally yoked or close to that level. You can't have like Chris Paul surpasses Blake Griffin in so many aspects in basketball. It's not even funny. Like if Blake Griffin would just get a little bit closer to Paul, I feel that they could mesh better and become that 1-2 punch. Because if you look at the way that the Warriors won the championship, you had Stephen Curry, which was their best player for the team, the MVP for the whole season. But if you look at Andre Iguodala's contribution, he was right there. He had games where everything he did was the right thing without him being told. He wasn't told to, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to make this play at this time. He wasn't told to do those things. They were instinctive. And that's because of the culture that Steve Kerr brought. Even when the Spurs won the championship against the Cleveland Cavaliers, when they swept them, Tony Parker was their best player, but Tim Duncan was right there. He was right there making all the key plays, being the superstar that he was even at an old age then. So you got to understand that especially in the West, the point guard cannot be the bulldog on it. He can't be the go-to guy because there's too many responsibilities on his plate. Just like you saw in the finals, Stephen Curry had a lot of responsibilities on his plate. He had to get his teammates involved. He had to get himself going. So it was key that Andre Iguodala or somebody else step up. And when Andre Iguodala did, it took pressure off of Curry and let Curry become Curry, Chef Curry. You know what I'm saying? But Chef Curry needs somebody to bring the spices to the table. And that's what Iguodala did. So at the end of the day, I think it's over for the Clippers. It's over. I love what they've done, but they've disappointed me so many times. Every year that I think they're gonna get over the hump, they just never do. They never do, and I don't know what it is. I do know what it is. It's the culture. It's the culture. It's too many knuckleheads. Now you bring in Paul Pierce, which is a key addition. I like Paul Pierce, but Josh Smith, the guy jacks up threes and he can't shoot free throws. Now it's another DeAndre Jordan situation. Forget Hacker Jordan. Now you're gonna have Hacker Smith. You bring in Lance Stevenson. He's a wild card. He's a street baller. He loves to play street ball. So what are you gonna do with that? How is that gonna work? So it's just for show. It's just for show. It's just to show the fans like, okay, I can bring in guys into my system, and I can show them how to win. But the thing with Doc, which was instrumental, and especially when he was in Boston, he was around a lot of mature guys. Like these guys, I feel they're just not that mature yet. I don't think maybe this year they can prove me wrong and actually make it to the Western Conference Finals, but I don't see that happening. I think that their guys are just not mature enough. They don't have that culture in their head. Like a winning culture is not something that you have to coach. It's maturity. It's showing up. It's let me do less commercials this year because I'm really focused on winning a championship. It's, each and every guy getting on each other for making mental mistakes. It's not bailing out guys. It's not rah-rah speeches. Sometimes it's just the maturity level and the group of guys that you have that have a winning culture, that are willing to do all the things. They're willing to play the defense. They're willing to change their game. They're willing to dribble a little less. They're willing to defer a little bit more. Those are the things that I feel like they're not there yet. They haven't made the sacrifices in order to go far. And it's just seen in the organization, especially like stretching Doc Rivers to be the coach and the GM or president. It just shows me something. It just shows me that the culture is not there yet. It's not there yet because you got to understand, the team is as strong as its weakest link. And it's just too many weak links on the Clippers team. And on paper, they look good. Every year, they look good on paper. Tell me how many times you haven't seen on ESPN. Hey, I think they could make it. This Doc Rivers is going to get them going. It has nothing to do with Doc Rivers. It has everything to do with the culture. I know Steve Ballmer is making things, high pace, high energy. Come see the game. No more Donald Sterling lingering around. No, there's no more air of that. But the culture still remains the same because even with all that talent, just some of the things that take place on the court, you would have thought that you're looking at the 1999 Clippers. You know what I'm saying? So they have something to do with the culture. It just has to change. There doesn't have to be any more yelling or motivational speeches by Doc Rivers. These guys should know, okay, certain seconds left on the clock, I'm not going to dribble. I'm not going to do this. Certain things I'm not going to do. Certain things should just come easily. There shouldn't be boneheaded plays being made. There shouldn't be, this game went down to the wire and, if he just would have did this. They should just know. There's been so many miscues that's not even funny anymore. And to me, it starts with the players. I don't think Doc Rivers can do anything else anymore because he comes from, I turn teams around that have guys that are willing to be turned around. I don't think these guys are really committed and buying in. I just think they're just set in their ways. They're just set in their ways. And just to give you context or a story, in the playoffs, I believe it was against Portland, the Lakers were going to lose. It was a game they were down by 20. And Phil Jackson goes into the huddle and he says, hey guys, well, we're down 20. You guys aren't playing. So I guess this is it. I hope you guys have a good summer. Wherever you choose to go. I hope that's good. I hope that, you find a great contract and it works out for you. But this is done. We're done. So have a nice summer. Phil Jackson said that in a huddle in the playoffs. Western Conference Finals. And you know what those guys said? They said, F that. We're not doing that. We're not going home. You think if Doc Rivers would have walked into a huddle with the Clippers in the playoffs and he said that to them, they would rally? No, they wouldn't. It's just because it's just the culture. It's just the culture. There's only one pit bull and there's a lot of shih tzus in the pack. So, maybe we'll see something, maybe we won't. But right now, I'm pulling the parachute on the Clippers. Let me know what you think below. Sorry this is a little long video, but, I just feel like every year with these guys, they always look good. Beginning of the season, it looked great. And then, fall straight on their face. Well, let me know what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe. And subscribe to our email list so you get great content and exclusive content. Thanks.